What's up guys, Drewzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer video, and in today's video we're going to focus on one thing specifically, and that is we're going to talk about the least used cards in Legendary Arena currently within the meta of PvP. Now this is going to be a very interesting topic. I haven't really discussed a lot of the PvP meta so far really on the channel. I've just kind of hinted at things as far as what I've seen. I will post a link in the description down below for the Google Docs spreadsheet that I'm using that talks about what cards are currently that we're going to talk about here today. So there are 38 cards in this list that are considered low tier in the current PvP meta as far as usage. Now I believe this is usage in the legendary arena as far as cards that are maybe not used as much for specific reasons as they're not considered worth the value of upgrading, because some of you guys have asked, Drew, what card should I be upgrading? What card should I be avoiding upgrading while I'm going through my process of using materials? And these are some of the ones, at least in the PvP meta, that most of the players are not using currently in Legendary Arena. Now this could be changed. There are some people that I've seen in the meta or that I've seen in top 100 gameplay use some of these cards. So I'm not saying all of these cards are not being used, but a lot of more players than not. And I don't know how many are currently in the Legendary Arena. I know it does increase because you can't be demoted out of Legendary Arena once you make it in a season. Of course, once February 1st hits, which is here in about a couple weeks as I'm recording this video, that will be reset. So then your PvP rank will be reset. You will be out of Legendary Arena and you have to work your way back in. But I think there are probably close to 2,000 people in Legendary Arena right now. There's quite a bit. There's more than 1,500. I know that for a fact. So I don't know exactly the definitive number as far as people within the Legendary Arena. If you guys know, let me know down below as far as how many are in the Legendary Arena. But there are quite a few people. So anyways, we're going to talk about which of the cards are not the most popular. There's 38 total cards, so I'm not going to break down each of these cards. What I'm going to do is towards the end of the video, after I list off the cards that are on this list, I'm going to talk about the ones that I will argue should not be on this low tier list, and I will tell you why when we get to those cards. So of course we're going to start, like we do with most of these videos, with the neutral theme. So in the neutral theme we have Starvin' Marvin, Big Gay Al, PC Principal, Officer Bar Brady, Pigeon Game, and Marcus. So those are considered low tier cards in the current meta, or least usage cards as far as in Legendary Arena. For Adventure, we have Deckhand Butters, Captain Wendy, Inuit Kenny, Pocahontas Randy, Barrel Dougie, Medicine Woman Sharon, Stan of Many Moons, Outlaw Tweak, and Buccaneer Bebe. For Sci-Fi, we have Power Fist Dougie, Ice Sniper Wendy, Gizmo Ike, Marine Craig, Sixth Element Randy, Space Warrior Token, Hyperdrive, Cyborg Kenny, Mind Control, and Warboy Tweak. For the mystical theme, we have Prophet Dougie, Hallelujah, Pope Timmy, Sexy Nun Randy, Witch Doctor Token, and Energy Staff. And finally, for the fantasy theme cards, we have Amazingly Randy, Chicken Coop, Kyle of the Drow Elves, Transmography, I know I always mispronounce that, Transmography, Dwarf Engineer Dougie, Cock Magic, and Canadian Knight Ike. So those are the 38 cards that are currently considered low tier. Again, there will be a link down below for this document that I've been using to talk about some of the strategies and some of the different things that I've been doing so far within the last few videos, primarily with my best of videos, because a lot of you have been asking, Drew, where are you getting these stats from? This is where I'm getting them from. Now, this is a fairly reliable source. I've seen other YouTube people use this source, and I think it's fairly well accurate. It's not by no means perfect, I think, but it's pretty darn close, and it's really a good tool to use for you guys if you're trying to understand the game concepts and understand what you should be doing and what you shouldn't probably be doing. So again, these cards are specifically focused for PvP as far as what they consider low tier. In the 3 tiers, there is high tier, which is the most prominently used ones, mid tier, which are used hit and miss, and then there are the low tier cards, the cards that are not used as much. So I have 6 cards on this list of 38 that I'm going to argue for you right now which ones I think should not be in the low tier and should either be in mid tier or maybe higher, and I'm going to talk to you guys why real quick here. So we're going to start with the first card. We're going to start from the neutral theme and work our way through the themes, but the neutral theme card that I'm going to argue should not be in the low tier is Pitch and Gain. And I'm going to argue why Pitch and Gain should not be in there is because they have one of the best damage potentials of any fighter within the game. So their current attack speed is a 1.6, which is the 4th fastest attack speed in the entire game. There are only 3 other units that have a faster or equal. There are 2 cards that have an equal attack speed of them, and there's only one that has a faster, which is Rats. Rats have the fastest attack speed currently within the game at a 1.5. Pitch and Gain is just slightly above, 1/10 of a second slower at a 1.6. A swarm unit similar to Rats. One of the big upgrades for Pitch and Gain is they're in the air. Rats are on the ground, and Nelly can wipe them out, can eliminate Rats very, very quickly. Nelly cannot eliminate Pitch and Gain. Pitch and Gain can be countered, however, with a ranged unit that does multiple damage, something like Nathan or Terrence Mephisto. Those are the 2 probably best counter cards for Pitch and Gain. Also, Rogue Token does a really good job with his Warcry ability, will wipe out a Pitch and Gain as well, if around equal level. But I think Pitch and Gain doesn't get the love that I think it deserves. I mean, it's a 4 cost, energy cost, not a terrible cost, only 1 more than Rats, so still, you know, in that medium range. It has, you know, high damage potential. So at maximum rank, the damage potential, if all of the pigeons are attacking something, at a maximum amount of damage of 190.4 damage per second at max rank. That's insane. That is the next closest is Dog Poo at a 1.5, and Dog Poo's attack speed is atrociously worse. It's 2.1. I guess it's not atrocious, but it's still slower than what Pitch and Gain can output. So Pitch and Gain can output more damage. It has a swarm unit of multiple flying pigeons around, at least 5 or more. I don't know if that number goes up as you level it up. I only have it as you see to level 2. But Pitch and Gain, I think, should be a medium tier. I don't think it should be a low tier. I don't see it used as much. Rats are pretty much run rampant because it's the best counter card in the game. Rats are the best counter card in the game with the quick attack speed, good damage output, and they can just completely swarm a unit very easily. And really the only great counter is Nathan, Terrence Mephisto, and Nelly to Rats. But the only good counters, in my opinion, to Pitch and Gain are just 3 or 4 real units, and they're just... I think they should be higher. I think they should be a mid-tier card, not a high... I'm not saying a high-tier card, but a mid-tier card, just because of their damage output, the fact that they're in the air, things like that. I think Pitch and Gain should get a little bit more love than what they do. Let me know down below what you guys think of the cards that I'm going to talk about, and if you agree or disagree with me, because you guys do that anyway, which is completely fine. I'm totally open to your guys' opinions, and I want your guys' opinions on these things. That's why we talk about it. So next, for the adventure cards, Deckhand Butters. I'm going to argue that Deckhand Butters should be on this list. He should be a mid-tier or maybe a high tier now. I've seen a lot more top 100 people using Deckhand Butters. The one downside to Deckhand Butters over all the other Butters is he's the more expensive of the Butters because he's 3 energy cost over the 2. And I did do a Butters breakdown video. It was my second best of video that I did do here on the channel. But Deckhand Butters has pretty good attack speed and very good damage output. His attack speed is a 1.7, the second fastest, tied with Sheriff Cartman, which is bizarre as a tank to have a 1.7 attack speed. The only one that has a faster attack speed in the adventure theme is Pocahontas Randy. So Deckhand Butters has the second fastest attack speed out of all the adventure cards, and is currently tied for 5th in the fastest attack speed in the game. So he's got insane attack speed. He's also got the second highest DPS for any assassin in the game, more than any other Butters, with a 124.7 damage per second. The only thing that's better than that is Rats, and Rats have multiple units. So Deckhand Butters has crazy damage output, good attack speed. He has a Death Wish, which heals the closest ally and or leader, which can be very useful, and a lot of people have raved about when you're charging forward with Deckhand Butters, sacrificing Deckhand Butters essentially to the opponent, and then that heals up maybe someone like Smuggler Ike or any of the other assassins if you're going to bombard that. Other people have said that they use Deckhand Butters and heal up something like Starvin' Marvin or other other headhunter units, something like that. There's a wide variety of options that you would have with Deckhand Butters. I've seen him used a lot more, like I said, in top 100 gameplay that I've been watching on, either through streams or, through other videos and stuff like that. So I think he should be bumped up. I don't think he should be a low tier card anymore. I mean, whatever you guys, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you think down below if you agree or disagree with me on that. My next argument, Captain Wendy. I think Captain Wendy should be a mid-tier for sure, because I think Captain Wendy is very undervalued. I've undervalued her, to be honest, as far as, and I did a Wendy breakdown video, but Captain Wendy is, I've seen a resurgence of her as well in the top 100 because of her charge, that her charge can take out multiple units, can take out either a couple rats out of a rat swarm, can take out a couple different assassins, can maybe even do enough damage to take out, you know, a fighter or two. You know, it has endless possibilities. If used at the right time, it can really turn the tide in your favor by wiping out some enemies that could really do significant damage to you in the course of a fight in PvP. So I think Captain Wendy, undervalued. A 3-cost energy is low for a range. There's not many range that are that low. I mean, adventure cards are rampant in the top 100, you know, legendary PvP right now because legendary cards are very cheap and they're easy to cycle through and get those cards out consecutively. Her attack speed is okay. She's got okay attack speed. For a range card, it's actually pretty darn good. It's a 2.6. Then she has her damage output is one of the things that really kind of sets her back. Out of the top 20 range damages at top rank, she is 16th. So that's really her only major weakness, is her damage output as far as her damage per second with her basic attack on individual units. But I think with her charged ability should really up her into a higher echelon of at least mid-tier. I wouldn't put her at high tier again, but mid-tier instead of low tier. So I don't think she should be a low tier card. That's just my opinion. My only sci-fi argument is going to be Cyborg Kenny. I don't think Cyborg Kenny should be a low tier card. I think he should be a mid-tier card. Definitely not a high tier card because of his epic rarity. I think hinders him at being able to be upgraded faster and things like that. But his Death Wish is so good. He has one of the best. I think he has probably the best Death Wish in the game because it's mind control essentially for 10 seconds, which is ridiculous. It's better than Mecha Timmy's, and Mecha Timmy is a high tier card because his lasts for 10 seconds. Mecha Timmy's does not. I believe it lasts for like 3 or 4 seconds. So it's almost double the length. So the person that kills him is then basically controlled, and you can use that to your advantage. At a 4 energy cost is kind of expensive for an assassin, but he does pretty darn good damage as well. He is 10th of the top 15 damage per second for a assassin card at a 105.2 damage per second at max rank. And his attack speed is a 2.1, which is about mid-tier, not too bad. I mean, it's a little bit slower than normal assassins. Normal assassins are around a 2 or faster. So, I mean, he's got a general attack speed of a normal assassin. A little bit higher cost at 4, which is kind of one of his major downsides. He's an epic rarity, which kind of hinders him in being able to be upgraded easier. But I think his Death Wish is just so nice, because then you heal the unit and then you get control of them for 10 seconds, which you can really use to your advantage. So I think he should be more of a mid-tier. I haven't seen him used very much in Legendary PvP. I'm sure that's why he's on the low tier. So any of you guys in Legendary Arena or anything like that want to argue that the Cyborg Kenny, this probably will be one of the ones that will be debated the most out of all the ones that I'm talking about, I think. But I think Cyborg Kenny is stronger than people give him credit for. That's just my opinion. If I ever get to Legendary Arena, which I may not this season, but I will push for it next season, maybe I'll try Cyborg Kenny out and see how I do. Probably get wrecked, but, you know, who knows. I do like Cyborg Kenny. I think he's undervalued as a card, in my opinion. He's one of my favorites. I like the sci-fi theme a lot, and I just think he's better than low tier. My only legendary I'm going to argue is Witch Doctor Token. He's from the mystical theme, and he's the only mystical theme I'm also going to talk about. But there are a couple legendaries that are in high tier or mid tier right now, so not all of them are in low tier. There are more in low tier than any of the other tiers, because with legendaries the biggest struggle is upgrades. Upgrades are extremely expensive. As you see, 8 of 15 is 200 gold to upgrade him. It also costs a lot of materials to upgrade him as well. So that's a huge downside, obviously, for a legendary card, is upgrading a legendary card because of their cost. But Witch Doctor Token has high damage and very good attack speed, so I don't understand why he's considered a low tier card. A 2 attack speed, the 3rd fastest attack speed out of any mystical card, only behind Sexy Nun Randy and Hermes Kenny, and his damage output is 7th best out of all the fighters at top level at 69 damage per second. 69, really? So 69 damage per second by Witch Doctor Token, which is 7th overall, which is the highest out of any fighter in the mystical theme. Of course, only above Sexy Nun Randy. But I think Witch Doctor Token is a solid card. I like his charge more so for PvE than PvP. Witch Doctor token can be overwhelmed and be taken out pretty quickly. But in PvE, the ability to drain the health from nearby enemies and re-heal himself is awesome, because he can drain it from swarm units. He can drain it from, you know, any of the units around him. Obviously, it's better to drain from multiple units rather than just one individual unit, because he actually gets more heal and more energy out of it. And that can be hard in the higher levels of PvP to be able to use that ability at the right time, because it does take quite a bit of delay to get that charge to fully work for you. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why I think he's considered a low tier card, just because of the fact that his charge takes quite a bit of time to really kind of work. But I think because of his damage output, he's got decent health, he's got an okay cost at 4 energy. I just think as a legendary card, he should be a mid-tier legendary like some of the other ones. And I don't understand why he's a low-tier card. But again, let me know why you think so down below if you disagree. And the only card from the fantasy theme I'm going to argue is Dwarf Engineer Dougie. Now, you could probably never thought I'd argue that a Headhunter card should be put into the mid-tier section. And I think Dwarf Engineer Dougie is the only Headhunter that should be in the mid-tier section, and at least for out of his Dougies. And the only reason why I say that is because he has the highest Headhunter DPS at max rank at 137.4, which is higher than any of his other Dougies, and is higher than any other Headhunter card in the game. He also has pretty good attack speed as well, a 1.9, which is the 4th fastest out of the fantasy themes, and I believe is in the top 20 or so of the actual game. So, I mean, he's got good attack speed, he's got good damage per second. I think Dwarf Engineer Dougie, if you're going to have any Dougie or any Headhunter that's not in the low tier section, it's got to be Dwarf Engineer Dougie, guys. I mean, he does a good amount of damage for a Headhunter, and he increases his attack every hit that he makes, so he can do even more damage each time he's able to hit. So, I mean, I don't know as far as his health relationship to the other Dougies, if it's lower or higher, because I only have him to level 2, as you can see. I may try to level him up and see if I can use him, because fantasy is a popular theme to be used in the Legendary Arena. And, you know, I really want to try some of these cards out, maybe make some different decks with as many of these 38 total cards as I can, to try to see. I mean, again, I'm not in Legendary Arena. I'm in the mid 40s right now. I think I'm 44, 45. So, you know, I'm still a little ways to go to get to the Legendary ranking, but I want to see if some of these cards can work in a mid-tier deck, or even to push myself to Legendary Arena. I don't really know, because I've still got a lot of upgrading to do with some of these cards to really make them viable. But let me know down below what you think of this entire breakdown that we just did, guys. If you agree, disagree with some of these low-tier cards that you think should be mid-tier, or if you agree with the stuff that I said or disagree with the stuff that I said in this video. I'm trying not to make this video very long. This video might go a little bit longer than I want, but again, want to get your guys' feedback on this, and I wanted to talk about this for the ones that have been asking in multiple comments in multiple videos about which cards I should work on and not work on. I'm going to do a video talking about what they consider the best cards within the current meta of Legendary Arena, or at least the cards that are used the most. I will make a video about that sometime later this week, before the end of the week, and I'll try to do maybe do a stream at some point this week. So I will let you guys obviously know about that later on this week if I end up doing that or not. But until next time, guys, my name is Drewzy.